You're still watching Prime Morning, and it's time for us to delve into the newspapers. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. Franco Trading Enterprise still phone prepare for you. Whatever gadget you are looking for, whether mobile phones, televisions, and CCTV cameras, we say worry no more because we've got you covered. Just make sure that you download the app on your phone to make things very, very simple. So you download the app, which is Franco Trading app, and you can purchase your items through this app. For further inquiries, you can reach us on www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone prepare for you. Now, this morning, we actually want to take a look at the kind of hooliganism that is happening within the NDC. Some foot soldiers is alleged that they are taking over spaces that they don't have to take over. A typical example is Atewa Forest. Now, what happened in Obuasi is there's an allegation that those people were NDC foot soldiers. Well, like I said earlier, investigations are still ongoing, so we cannot say for sure that they are NDC foot soldiers, but there is an allegation that they are NDC foot soldiers. Now, coming to Atewa Forest, we haven't heard of any bad news yet with regards to any lives lost. However, the bad news that we are hearing is that some NDC foot soldiers have taken over Atewa Forest. Now, what is going to happen with regards to these occurrences that are happening that you and I know is wrong? But what will the government do about it? Now, again, we saw it happen at GRA where they blocked the entrance to prevent the CEO designate from entering the place. The acting CEO from entering the place. And so we'll take a look at that as well. And then there's a petition to the president to remove the EC. Now, there's a reason for it. We'll go into details with regards to the reason why the petition has come in place for the EC to be removed. Now, when we take a look at it, can the EC be removed? On what basis can the EC be removed? And will the EC be removed if found guilty, or the EC will remain at post? We'll be talking about all these and more as well. So you can join us as we stream live on Facebook. As we stream in, you can leave your comment there. We really want to hear your voice this morning. Not just that, but also you can send us messages on 055-1575-757, 055-1575-757. My guests are seated and poised for the conversation. Joining me this morning is the MP for Oforikrom. He's representing NPP this morning, Honorable Michael Kwesi Edu. Hi, Honorable.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, and yourself?
Great. I'm fine, thank you. You look lovely this morning.
Thank you.
You look nice. Honorable Timothy Awantri-Matabwade is representing the NDC this morning. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, Rosie.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great. I'm fine, thank you. Today you look like you're traveling abroad or something.
Maybe abroad within Ghana.
Because it's like you are dressed in your winter regalia. Or you're feeling cold?
Not, I'm okay. You know, sometimes even to dress and come becomes a problem. Sometimes you need to jostle between dresses, even though they are there.
Yeah.
And to figure out what would suit you for the day. Sometimes it's a challenge, but I think we are here and I'm comfortable in my dress. And let me say good morning to my brother, Honorable MP for Oforikrom.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's doing very well, I must say.
Yeah.
What do you think about the minister designate for the Ashanti region?
I think he excelled himself at the vetting, and it was great listening to him. As a former student leader, I appreciate the strength that he comes with. He being a student leader and a medical doctor. And during the vetting, I realized almost every question that he was asked, he responded fairly and exhibited the tenacity that comes with the job. So I believe he's up to task, and I wish him well that as he takes on this Herculean job. You know, Ashanti region is not a small region, and also taking into consideration the chiefs and people, the king himself, and all the paramounts together that he has to deal with, the traditional authority, the political situation in Ashanti region, in the sense that Ashanti region is the home of the MPP, and you are going to take over a region where majority of your MPs are in the opposition. And then you also have MMDCs coming in from your party. There's going to be a lot of conflicts here and there, how you manage the situation, and that it will all to show through his leadership skills. So we're watching.
Right. Now, is it true that you have an unemployment rate of 16%?
Yesterday it was news to me. I'm yet to look into data to see the research on it. This morning I was trying to check one or two to see if I'll get any information on it, but I didn't get anything. But I'll dig deeper to find out. Because we all know how the people of Ashanti region are very hardworking, a lot of traders. And it may not come as a surprise because we're moving from the point where most of the youth were into farming and trading. Now, a lot of youth don't like to go into farming. Yes, so...
but they're trading online, so if you don't take care, you will think they are not working.
But not everybody's trading online.
Okay.
Not everybody's trading online. For instance, in my constituency, I remember clearly, before my primaries, one of the reports that I saw, the National Security reports on our constituency, indicated that the key issues in the constituency were unemployment and roads. Okay. So those two issues were the issues facing the constituency. Even though we are a very cosmopolitan constituency, and there are a lot of businesses in the constituency, but the unemployment was on the high in the constituency. So I wouldn't be surprised putting all the other constituencies together. Right. He indicated that the national unemployment rate is 14%, and quite interestingly, Ashanti region alone is 16%. So it puts a responsibility on all of us to work towards reducing that rate.
I'm quite surprised, and I have to go to Honorable Timothy Awontim Atabwade on this one because, you know, Ashanti region, the biggest hub for the NPP, and suddenly recording these huge figures with regards to unemployment. I'm surprised, and in my intro this morning, I did mention that I never thought...
I'm equally surprised.
Yes, I never thought that Ashanti region... Honorable, you listened to his vetting as well, right?
Yeah, let me say good morning once again to our viewers. I listened to his vetting, and like Honorable said, I think he did quite well. As a young guy coming, facing the appointment committee for the first time, it can be quite intimidating. But he was courageous and bold enough to present his issues in a manner that all of us admired. I admired him. In fact, he's my party fellow, but we haven't met on one-on-one. Okay. And it does happen because of the various areas in which we all operate. So for me, I was thumbs up for him. He was bold enough to articulate his points, and he also accepted that, look, there are areas that the previous government continued. He would continue from that place and ensure that development is brought to the people in terms of even infrastructure and ensuring security, peace, and harmony. He talked about these things. He recognizes and he knows that Ashanti region is quite a difficult place because of the fact that even, like my brother said, that is the stronghold of the MPP, in fact, the belly of the MPP. So if you are there, you must be skillful and tactful to be able to get your policies through. If we strictly want to go by voting in terms of even the MMDCs, it will even mean that the NDC will not even, any other candidate you put in for MMDC, they will not win. But sometimes it's through compromises and negotiations. They say, okay, you are in power, let's give it to you to do. Yeah. Most importantly, these are people who also emanate from the constituency, notwithstanding the fact that they are in the minority. Coming to the issue of the unemployment rate being 16%, I wasn't surprised because if you look at statistics, a multidimensional poverty last year showed that the Ashanti region had the highest number of people that were captured in that survey. Multidimensional, there were over 900 to 1 million people. So if the nominee said that it can be juxtaposed within the figure I've given you, and Kumasi, see, like when you were doing the intro, I got you and I got my brother too. Kumasi is generally a place that trade is always booming. It's a place that everybody moves around. So it's just
Kumasi, the Ashanti region itself.
Yes, if I'm just using for the Ashanti, but the business is really in the center. But if you look at the fact that most businesses were laying off people in the Ashanti because they are into trading, remember that the taxes and other issues were eating up their profits. So you cannot maintain the number of people, and the bricks nature of businesses was reducing as the day passes by. Look at the spare parts dealers. They complain severally. So if you are having 5 people working for you as a spare parts dealer, and market wasn't good, you were bound to reduce the number in order to beat down overhead costs and so on. People were no more. If you look at even the internal sale of goods and so on, people just roam about in town and so on. So it was quite an issue that it is so. If you look at the national average, it's 14.7. So Kumasi, naturally, with the population and the quantum of businesses there, can increase because employers, private business people, were reducing the number of business people they had employed in order to meet. Be that as it may, I think that we are in a new era. The regional minister nominee has promised to ensure that he brings vibrancy to the area, including the fact that the first budget that we are to hear from Honorable Atewa Forest, Minister of Finance, he had talked about the cancellation of the e-levy and other levies, including the COVID and the betting tax. This will serve as respite to business people in the region and so on. And I think gradually, as the year, we journey into the year, things will pick up. But it also presents an opportunity. If there's a problem, it then brings out the leadership skills and the innovative nature of the leader to be able to bring our policies and to work harder to arrest such a situation.
All right.
So problems are not just there, but they are even there to test our leadership, to tell you how skillful and how versatile you are in terms of arresting the problem. For me, I think that it presents an opportunity. That means the labor there is there.
We are watching.
So we are watching to see.
We are watching to see the percentage he can reduce the 16% to. Will he be able to get to a single digit? Will he be able to create the jobs so that he?
And let me even add this. You know, most of the contractors too were not working and so on, especially the abandoned projects. If they were all working basically like they used to, look at a big contract. Is it Job? It's a road contractor. It's called.
Really?
Yeah, in Kumasi, big contractor. Coffee Job.
Okay.
Yes, I think he had challenges. Working? No, I say he had challenges with the payment and so on.
No,
it wasn't here.
That is not entirely accurate because I am from the Ashanti region.
Please.
And over the past year, I have seen contractors working. In my constituency, contractors were working. In other places, if you go to Ejoso, even during the Ejoso by-election, Kofi Job was working, and he worked throughout till even the end of last year. So if we say contractors were not working, that would not be accurate.
Yes, but what I was saying, you see, I went to Mankraso in your region. The road in Mankraso was being done by Kofi Job. It was stalled for more than a year. Not just he, but I think contractors.
But I'm coming. Roads falling. No. For you know, contractors sometimes they've taken a lot of projects. He may have moved his
it was a payment issue.
But
it was payment
I've seen Kofi Job's machines in a lot of
I've seen them. I went to Bosunchi.
Yes,
I went to Bosunchi. No, I'm talking about. No, he's quite a very
no, but Kofi Job is not the only contractor. If you go to this contractor, what's his name? Jasmore.
Yeah,
Jasmore was working on the Buankra, the inland port, and he's still working.
Yes, but you know the challenges of the inland port. Look at the amount of money that the budget showed that.
I think.
But what I'm saying is that even the non-payment or the regional minister mentioned about it. You remember when he made it? When he met at Santihine, he talked about the fact the projects are stalled because the payment were not coming.
That was about 2 years ago.
No, but even
that was about 2 years ago. But
no, I think it was.
That was about 2 years ago.
2 years, it can be going.
That was about 2 years ago.
I understand.
For instance, the Swami interchange is ongoing. Contractors are on site working.
But you know it's not going the way you are talking.
No, but the pace of work, you know when construction is going on, it doesn't just get up and boom, you see the structures up there. They have to start some grounds work and create auxiliary roads and all that.
Yeah.
So the pace of work might not go the way you want it. But eventually they get to a point where you now see speed because for the Swami interchange, they'll get to a point that they'll use composite steel bridges. Just like what they do with the circle interchange. They'll just bring the steel forms and then put them on, and then they just need to raise the beams and put the steel bridges on it. And when you get to that stage, you will then see the progress of it. But now, when they are doing the concrete works and those, you might not even see it. You might not see
Right.
it.
Okay. So I'll go into what the newspapers are reporting this morning as well. The Business Analyst newspaper is my very first newspaper. The Business Analyst. Ghana Gold Board Finance Minister inaugurates technical committee, and yesterday we saw videos of that trending. Edujik Tamaklo welcomed news at NPA. How UPPF boss allegedly shared 1.3 billion Ghana cedis to cronies as industry players demand forensic audits. Oh, wow.
But that is why you shouldn't have taken.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked at this. Is this going to be oral or which one is this? Because how is Edujik Tamaklo's welcome news at NPA this? So there's an allegation that the UPPF boss allegedly shared 1.3 billion Ghana cedis to cronies.
UPPF, what is that?
Anyway, oh, you want to know what UPPF
Universal
is?
Pricing.
It's Unified Petroleum Price Fund.
Yeah. Okay.
An agency under the National Petroleum Authority was allegedly shared among some top past political appointees. That's what it says here. Anyway, other stories on here. Appointments are not over. Exercise patience. Krache, is it Nkrumah? MP tells NDC supporters. So this is so true. Appointments are not over. See, they are over 5,000. They are over 5,000 appointments. Maybe people don't know.
Yeah, even the deputy ministers. We have not yet.
Deputy ministers, the state institutions,
the state institution, the board, the council of state,
so many.
The staffers.
Relax, okay, relax. Your person will get somewhere. Even presidential staffers, they're over 100. You know, so relax, just exercise patience. Your man will find somewhere. Even today, I'm here to advocate for, Honorable Timothy. I want him at one day. I need him to get an appointment as well. This man has worked so hard for the NDC. I mean, since he started coming on this show, he's never been late. We start at 6. He's always here at 6. He's always defending the party. He has sold the party so well, and I think that is only right that the party gives him an appointment. So please, the leadership of the party, I am pleading with you, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I'm pleading with you this morning. If nobody has mentioned Honorable Timothy Atabwade to you, I and my team, we are mentioning him to you. Find somewhere for him. This man has worked so hard for the party, and he will excel as well. So please do that. More stories here. Bankole Adeoye emerges as a leading champion for democracy and stability in Africa. In 2025 African Prosperity Dialogues, 3,000 delegates, 7 African heads of state to participate. That will be it for the Business Analyst newspaper. The next newspaper is the National Enquirer. The National Enquirer, unbelievable, ECG operates 84 bank accounts with 20 banks. PwC report says so. It looks like there's a lot that is being uncovered, but I'm hoping that as they uncover this, they'll be able to find a solution to it. If the people...
But the ECG, the former ECG boss, Dubik Mahama, came to explain. But these are collection accounts.
Yeah.
Because if they have a place in Takwa or Bugoso, they cannot get the funds directly in Accra when you don't have a commercial bank in such a place like Wase Kropong. You don't have a commercial bank there unless the rural banks. So they have collection accounts in almost all these rural banks that take the funds and then deposit it, transfer it into a main account with ECG. So it's not really a surprise to see that companies like ECG, and not just ECG, even GRA and all these big companies that do a lot of collections, they have a lot of accounts. But when we put out such information out into the public domain, it creates a level of confusion, and it makes people feel that there's maybe some corruption or something going on. But more times, what surprises me is that most of the people who do this are people who have been in power and they understand these things, but then they put these things out to misinform the public, and eventually we all go chasing the wind. Then later we come back and say, oh, they didn't find anything.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten to a point in our democracy where we need to protect institutions. and not just put out such information.
Okay. As a force and pledges to work hard for betterment of Ghanaians, Gold Board to commence operations by March 2025, says the Finance Minister. Sylvester Mensah heads should I say Gezim Bank? Because it used to be Exim Bank, so it's Gezim Bank.
Exit Import.
Yes.
That's
so
it.
Ghana Exit Import Bank. All right.
Instead of it to have said Exim Bank.
Yes. 13-year-old prodigy with 5 A's, 3 B's admitted at KNUST to pursue a degree in physics. Congratulations to the young man and his family. The Daily Graphic newspaper is my next newspaper. The Daily Graphic, Minister directs head count in MMDA's Gold Board Technical Committee formed will stop cheap state land acquisition. Amma Kofi Boa assures, and Farihan Al-Hassan appointed new GCB Bank MD. Congratulations to him as well. The New Republic newspaper is my next newspaper. Kandapa lied. New footage reveals gavel by gavel account of how rogue national security agents kidnapped Emirates boss. Really? Well, we'll definitely, I think that right now that we have a new government, I'm hoping that a new government will investigate this and bring out proper information to it, because this is, Afenyo Markin praises Dampare, refers to him as an exemplary leader, calls for recognition during the vetting of Interior Minister designate Mohammed Montaka. Catholics cannot be Freemasons. Catholic Church warns prominent figures. And Ghana Gas Board blows $4.2 million on uncompleted mansion. CEO accused of wasting $4.2 million on unfinished building in shady deal. All right, so all these things, like, Honorable Edu has said this morning, if it's true, let's get to the bottom of it. If it's not true, can we please stop the misinformation?
Exactly.
That's very important.
Honorable Edu, on the issues of the 84 accounts, it's an IMF requirement asking them to consolidate the accounts. And PricewaterhouseCoopers found out, they found out that the ECG is operating 84 accounts.
With 20 banks.
Yes. Now, I wanted to come in before even I got this information, which, sometimes some of these institutions, you need to consolidate the account to have effective monitoring and then audits and so on. And if PricewaterhouseCoopers recommended, they even did it before we came to power. But I think I agree with you to the extent that there are some areas that there are some banks that are there. So you may have to open with even a rural bank so that you can channel. You see, but the issue is not about the payment or the collection points. After all, at the end of the day, they're all empty into a major account. But these accounts that are dotted, it's not about that. It is about other accounts that the EC is using to operate other systems within their institution.
Explain.
I'm saying that the collection points, like he rightly explained, there are some areas you cannot have maybe GCB Bank or other bank. It can even be a rural bank.
Yeah.
So you may have to open in order for them to pay the money. But they will all empty or they will all be paid into a general account.
Yes.
Or the banks will do the transfers into that. That is not the issue. The issue is that ECG have some other accounts. Probably they use them for other businesses and so on. I cannot go into detail until the full report is given. That is what the issue is. It's not the payment of the various micro banks that are dotted across the country, but other banks that they've opened that they felt that if they are consolidated, when you are even opening this bank, you pay charges.
But
a lot of
you
charges,
know
you understand?
You know that if you're a business person, you realize that sometimes you even have customers who would, or suppliers who will request that you bank with particular banks so that their transactions are smooth. Or there are suppliers who will request that you bank with particular banks so that when you raise LCs, they will have that comfort to deal with you. And once you have a company like ECG that is doing a lot of business, importing a lot of materials and so on, you would definitely you will not be able to have just one consolidated account that you use for all your operations.
But
they're saying that
the
should
the A4 account, I listened to the former MD of ECG, Dubikma. I listened to him. I think he was interviewed on one of your sister channels. And he was very emphatic. He said the 84 accounts is because there are some areas. He mentioned Takwa precisely, Wase, Kropon, Bogoso, some parts in the north and so on. He mentioned that these areas, there are no commercial banks. So there are rural banks scattered across these places that they use as collection accounts. And that is why they have 84. Okay.
But we are looking at 20
Look,
banks.
even when you look
Why
at the
84?
recommendation...
And even in Ghana here, without some of these collection accounts, without some of these accounts that most of these institutions operate, a lot of our banks will be weak. And Honorable, you agree with me that when accounts are open in the various banks and then they do the collections and all in various locations, it helps the banks also to mobilize, the various branches also to mobilize and stay afloat. So it's not entirely wrong.
But the
It's
What
question
we are
is,
saying
but
is
the
that...
question is, why 84 in 20
What we are
banks?
even saying is that...
It depends.
Honorable,
Look at this
Yeah,
country. We have how many districts in this country?
Yeah,
Yes,
but
honorable.
84 accounts in
It's too much.
20 banks.
Some of their regional offices require different accounts that they'll use. The regional offices will not be using the main accounts in head office in Accra.
Okay.
Different regional offices will also be using different accounts to operate.
All right.
Let
So,
me come there.
All right,
definitely there will be
I
an
really don't have
explanation.
a problem.
We'll go to
I
the
really,
topic for
no,
this morning.
I really don't have a problem, Honorable. You see, PwC recommended that ECG consider consolidating its financial operations by partnering with a single bank that has extensive nationwide coverage branches. I want to come there.
Like which bank? ADB?
No, the other one.
Ghana Commercial Bank?
Ghana Commercial
But,
Bank.
but you
I'm
know,
coming.
you agree
I'm
with me
even
that we've
coming.
gotten to the point where some banks, even in terms of efficiency and speed, and in terms of even international networks where you get banks confirming even your LCs and all that, some banks are stronger than even commercial banks.
No, I know.
In terms of
But
that. Commercial
this is a
banks may
government-
be big because of their network.
Their network.
But then
It is the
in terms
single
of
bank that has
efficiency, some
branches.
banks may be even better.
It is the
And
only...
you cannot consolidate. You know, IMF and some of these audit recommendations, on paper, sometimes it looks good. But practically, you go there and realize that it's not easy to even activate some of these things.
Okay.
You
All right,
remember,
so let me go to our
which
topic for this
institution was
morning.
that? They also had so many
we want
banks.
To take a look at. We want to take a
When
look
you
at.
came, you
this one
consolidated
we,
some of them.
we can actually make
Anyway.
it a main topic one day because
this maybe
has
by
a
that
lot-
I would
a
have
lot of
gotten much
questions,
more
information on it.
on it.
Exactly, because I know people at home are asking the question: 20 banks, 84 accounts.
84
why?
accounts.
Why
For
can't
one
we just say that we
institution.
have maybe 20
You
banks,
know,
20
they
accounts?
also
That makes
pay for
more
the use
sense,
of the
right?
banking
Because
service.
each bank you have one account. If you go there, you put the money in there. So why do you have 20 banks and 84 accounts? But we have to delve deeper. Maybe there's a good reason for it. So if we find a good reason, we'll let you know. If there's no good reason to, of course, the rot will be exposed. But let's take a look at the hooliganism that's happening within the NDC foot soldiers. Now, just yesterday, there was news that some members, alleged, some members of the NDC had taken over the Atewa Forest. Now, allegedly, again, when the incident happened in Obuasi, where 9 persons lost their lives, unfortunately, which we commiserate with the family, it's alleged that these persons that encroached the land were NDC foot soldiers who had gone there to say they were taking over because it's their time. Their government is in power and nobody can stop them. It's an allegation. Investigations are ongoing. Hopefully, solutions, or hopefully there will be a good finding as to whether they were NDC supporters or they were just galamseyers that went to encroach the land. Now, Atewa Forest is the one that we want to take a look at, and what also happened at GRA yesterday, where some members of the NDC said that they were not happy with the fact that one person who they feel had not been too supportive of the party had been made the boss of GRA. Hence, they went there to prevent him from entering into the premises. Also, let's take a look at what happened at the salt mine place?
The salt mine, yeah.
The salt mine place.
That is the...
Yes.
Adan.
Adan salt mine, where some NDC foot soldiers, again alleged, went to take over the place, ransacked the place, stole so many properties because they said that that place, because they were in power, they were taken over. Now, what can be done about it? Because unfortunately, we are seeing one too many. And if care is not taken, it will get out of hand. And so people are calling on the government to do something because, Honorable, your party is in power.
Yes. I think, first of all, it's unfortunate that we lost lives. Lives should not be lost no matter under what circumstances at all. Sometimes it's so painful, especially those who are engaged in this. They are young people who are breadwinners of they and their family. Probably some of them are married, they have people, they have parents they have to take over. But sometimes I ask our security forces, the best way, is it to shoot and kill or to maim the fellow so that later on the fellow can be taken through laws? I've asked a police officer why they will not shoot into the air and they shoot directly, knowing that the bullet will kill the fellow. I asked a senior police officer. And that thing has been battling my mind as to why trained officers would shoot directly, knowing that you are killing the fellow, no matter the circumstances. Because the power of the trained security people is better and more forceful than when they are meeting this through the crowd and so on. I've heard a lot of argument about the fact that the Obuasi incident was occasioned by or the people who went there allegedly are NDC people. You have known and you have heard severally, even top people of our party warn our people not to go into a forceful seizure of public properties and causing mayhem all over the country and so on. The president has spoken. That was why immediately the Obuasi issue, he ordered an investigation into it. Like he rightly said, we are waiting to see the details of that investigation report to see exactly who were those who engineered or they went there in a spontaneous manner, or is it true that they went there because their party, even if your party want power, and you are destroying what your party is supposed to use to work for the people of this country. Did we go or did we come? You understand? But you see, when it does happen, because you've just won election, people are quick to say that it is NDC. And we're also equally afraid that there could be people who will infiltrate coming under the banner of the NDC to cause trouble and disaffection for the people. Because we had a peaceful election, we had a peaceful transfer. These occasions or this program did not suit the whims and caprices of other people who thought that there would have been mayhem. Even before the election, someone was saying that I don't wanted to do some rallying. Someone was saying they should have been tendered to killers and so on. So it will not suit everybody's interest that smooth issues were coming. That's why we caution the people that if you go under your banner that you are in, there could be people who infiltrate and cause damage and cause repetition.
But why go in the first place?
I'm coming. You see, these things are legacy issues for which, as a country, we must openly condemn without not attaching, partisan. If we attach it to it, the next government that wins, there are people who do it because it was done to them. And I can begin to cite examples. But is that how you cannot justify a wrong of yesterday with today at all? When criminals go about destroying lives and property, they must be called as such and dealt with in accordance with the law. There should not be room for anyone to come out and say, because you're an NDC and you destroy public property, and so you should be allowed. Because that's someone else's property. Remember that that property does not belong to the MPP you are seeking to cause the pain to. Or probably that individual's property you are destroying is not even an NDC fellow. So what is the essence of going to destroy a state property, no matter the wrongs of the MPP?
You know, so far, nobody has been brought to book.
Yes, because the investigations are going on.
How long?
Since when have you been in power? It's not even up to 15 days or so. We've ordered investigation. Every investigation, timelines are given.
But we see, as the investigations are ongoing, we are seeing more and more of these happenings.
The Minister for Interior has just been approved and sworn in. The institutions are being set up and so on. You must get the investigation going on. Then afterwards, when the reports are handed over, nothing is done, then you can complain.
How do we put a stop to
Yes, we have to put a stop. You see, then I often say something. Sometimes people, those who ought to talk, when there is a new government, there are problems and they don't talk, they are the real cause of this thing. You remember the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joe Wise, saying that they should shoot and kill Galamseyers. You remember the statement? That's the Deputy Speaker of Parliament. They should shoot and kill them. Now, when my brother's party took over from us in 2017, look at people like the Abronye, without no government power, went around seizing people properties, seizing people cars. Look at Mutale's Land Cruiser. It was seized and packed for no reason. Member of Parliament. And I can go on to cite such an example. As at that time, people who ought to talk in this country kept quiet because they had branded NDC as a bad government and so on. So with that, people had pent up anger that they want to. If we hadn't stopped them, it could have been worse. That's why we took steps to stop them immediately. Because we do not, how long? We cannot stay in power in perpetuity. Another political party will come and say, hey, you did that to us, so we are coming. Going back to the Atewa Forest, I don't have much information, but what was the seizure for? And for me, whether they seized or not, this government is coming and stopping all other activities and mining in the forest reserves. And I think yesterday, the Minister for Lands, I think Lands and Forest, is that how he's called? Yeah, Honorable Boa, talked about the fact that forest reserves are no-go area. We have made our policy, and in our manifesto, we captured it succinctly that in the area of the forest, we are going to completely ban every mining in the forest and in rivers and so on, and ensure that all other people engaged in illegal mining, they are completely dealt with in accordance with the law and so on.
Okay.
Going back to the GRA,
more.
The GRA boss that you talked about. Yesterday I just watched them. I never knew that was what happened. But there have been allegations of the fact that he's not an NDC fellow. He was working for MPP. And I've seen a petition too, written about conflicts of interest and recruitments and so on. But I think a GRA fellow and so on. I think you've seen the petition. I don't know whether you've seen it. And so on. But at the end of the day, the president is the one who appoints. And he has not even withdrawn.
You said it's an all-inclusive government.
Yeah, if it is all-inclusive government, sure, we should go and pick Nanado to come and be Council of State chairman. Should we go and pick Nanado to come and be Council of State chairman? So, and if it is all-inclusive, that's why the committee is set up to review the committee is set up to review the constitutional committee. It's led by Professor H. Kwesi Prempe and other who are not strictly partisan. You saw him himself come out to say that he was humbled by that appointment because he's someone who has taken John Mahama and he has taken our government on. But you can see that there's all-inclusiveness. But you see, there's also history and a barrier to the all-inclusiveness. I think they would have had their share of attempted all-inclusiveness and it backfired badly on them, starting from the Kufuor regime, the Mala and Issa, because these are people who openly campaign against your manifesto, who openly campaign against your policies, and that your policies were not working. And
so
that
are
they were
you
not
saying
working.
that you are in support of the removal of these persons who are not, as quote-unquote, NDC members who have been given appointments?
No, that's not what I said.
Okay.
I didn't say that. I was just trying to make a whole...
Okay.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that this is the... In fact, when they said that they had never seen a Sapon, I think so. Interestingly, you see, the MP came and defended. I called the MP of the area, Emilia, he's the MP for the... I called her, and she briefed me and told me the background of Mr. Sapong and so on.
All right.
There's even an agitation at the NCA office about one reverend and so on.
Yes.
So you can go on and on, but I think it takes maturity, it takes wisdom, it takes the collective effort of all of us to ensure that these issues do not reoccur in the future. You cannot right wrongs with wrongs.
Your time is up. Honorable Edu, so these issues that are happening allege that they are NDC people, but anytime it comes up, they make reference to what happened with the NPP during your tenure in 2017. So it seems as though the NPP can't speak too much about it because...
Are you sure?
Yes, because we are not seeing the kind of action that we were hoping to see the NPP do to stop these hooliganism from going on.
What I think is that these are the kind of things that makes people lose trust in the political class. We need to call a spade a spade. The acts that are going on are done by NDC people. We shouldn't hide it.
Oh.
We should be very bold to say it.
Can you
I know where my I know where my
can you go and catch me and say team is an NDC or
he can't say it because his appointment has not yet come.
It will come.
Or the 5K and 3K men will rush to the studios. You know,
no, they won't come here.
More importantly, where we have gotten to in our democracy, Ghana is a beacon of good democracy. In Africa, we are one of the few countries that the international community sees as a thriving democracy. And we cannot go back. If we say we want to refer and go to the sins caused in the past, we'll be going in circles. I did a small reference. You know, this issue came to the floor of Parliament, to the chamber, when Honorable Asenso Boachi made a statement on these attacks and called on all and sundry, on leadership, on Parliament, to be bold to speak. And maybe we, as a country, we now sit down and legislate to bring punitive measures that are harsher, which will scare people from doing these things. You know, President Kufuor took over from President Rawlings in 2001. And then President Kufuor came, and if you quite remember, if you cast your mind back, President Kufuor brought HIPIC.
Yeah.
And out of the HIPIC, they built these HIPIC toilets and so on. Google, in 2009, these things started. When the NDC took over then, they started seizing toilets. Toilets, for God's sake. Toilet facilities, that was what they were seizing. And then it moved on from toilets. Then in 2017, when we came, some of our people who felt they were then managing those toilets built by Kufuor that were seized and all that, they also went back to take it. And in 2009, it wasn't just toilets. They were seizing toll booths. And I remember in Abobloshi, there was an incident that people felt that their party were in power and they chased people, they butchered people. And I remember one of the police officers, DCOP Kofi Ofori or somebody, and there was this voice note on Peace FM. He said he's running for his life. And that voice note was played several times by Kwame Sefakai. These incidences happened in 2009. That was the beginning of these acts. Nothing was done. So in 2017, it was more like retaliation. But in 2017, we didn't see these kind of things. What I'm driving at is, for the first time in the history of this country,
saw some.
We saw a lot.
No, in 2017, I'm making a point. I'll get there. In 2017, we saw, but not these kind of things.
But we saw.
We saw it, but not like this. Well, when I'm done, Honorable, let me finish. When I'm done making my point, you get what I'm driving at. It started from somewhere, toilets. Then in 2017, it came to cessation of cars. Then in 2025, what are we seeing? Now, public spaces, government agencies being attacked. In 2017, I don't remember any government agency that was attacked. But today, GRA, they are attacking GRA.
No.
If you go to, yes.
They did the demonstration.
No, they are saying, you know, when you go and you disrupt even work, the employees will not even have that sound mind to come and work because you put fear in them. And not just GRA. Bust. People march into bust to sack managers who are lifetime employees. They went to sack them, that they should leave. People went to MPA. People went to Ghana Gas. People went to Ghana Maritime, where my honorable, we are all praying he might even get the opportunity.
You even become the MP.
People went to Gapoha.
Yeah.
People went to Gapoha. These are state institutions that the Constitution protects. And what I'm surprised is these young people who are doing these things, instead of them to sit with the appointing authorities and say, yeah, we also need jobs. And definitely state institutions, you get people going on pensions and so on, people resign and go into other jobs and so on. So definitely there'll be vacancies. Instead of them to take their time, I believe is the kind of campaigning that we did, the kind of message that the NDC sent to their grassroots, that has emboldened them. Look at what happened at Obuasi. Quite tragic, very unfortunate, lives lost. These are things that shouldn't happen in our country today.
No life must be lost.
No life must be lost.
No life.
Not a single life. But then if we had found a better way to talk to our youth, to talk to our people, that you know what? When we come to power, the president has about 7,000 appointees. Once these appointees get into office, there might be vacancies. They can create opportunities. And some of you will get places to work. And we are creating a 24-hour economy. Is it that they don't even believe in the 24-hour economy?
Could it be that the people are too hungry?
How can you be too hungry? Everybody is hungry. Today, you know human wants are unlimited. Today, even with where you sit and what you get, if you had to double it up, you'll be happy.
A minute more, though.
Thank you very much. If you had to double it up, you'll be happy. And quite unfortunately, they attacked GRA, and now they are taking over Forest. And it's good. I listened to Honorable Kofi Amabua when he said that they are going to protect our forest because of right now the climate action by the UN and all that, that every country is supposed to protect. Forest reserves by our laws, if you even want to mine in it, you need to go to Parliament before you can mine in a forest reserve. So it's illegal to even mine in a forest reserve. For you to go to the Atewa Forest and say, we are taking over, very illegal. And because of the transition now, the police service, there's some inaction. That is what I'm seeing. Because, you know, everybody is protecting their jobs. They are scared because it's party people who are doing this. You go and touch somebody tomorrow, you lose your job. So they are all scared to act. What we are calling on is not just rhetoric, decisive action. The president, the ministers that have been approved, they should show leadership. The party in Obuasi, I heard my honorable member say that it wasn't NDC. In Obuasi, Joseph Yamin was there talking to them that they are our people. He was commiserating with the families, and he said, they are our people. I've seen video clips where the Obuasi NDC women organizer was urging them on earlier. And after the incident, video clips
Urging them on us in.
That when they win the power, she was talking to them that when they win power, they will take over the parts of
She never told them to go.
Have you seen the video?
I've seen the video.
I'll show it
I've
to you.
seen the video for this.
You see,
I will. No, I've seen the video. I know what the video
There is
is.
inference.
Yes.
That video, the only reason why we are where we are is because we can't speak truth to power. That video was urging them on that they are hungry. They will also have to eat. If you are telling small-scale miners, galamseyers, that they will have to eat, what do you mean? So it's the same boys that she was speaking to who went to Anglo Gold Ashanti.
All right.
And these issues happen.
Okay, let me read
So
a few
you saw the
comments
same
that
boys,
are
and when you went
in.
into the Anglo Gold Ashanti, you saw the same boys there.
Okay, so this is from Francis Kwame Guni from Widiba says, Dear Roslyn, the African proverb for the day has strongly fanned up my passion to ignite an advocacy conversation towards the renaming the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, to be known as National Disaster Prevention Organization. This will bring our national consciousness to the level of proactive orientation with focus on risk assessment and execution of preventive measures across all institutional, societal, and communal activities. Thank you. Thank you so much for this message. We really appreciate it, and we hope that that will be done. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, Good morning, my dear. Roslyn, I listened to you yesterday. Yes, it's true. Akunta Mining has a license, but remember, the former Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Abu Jinapo, the Mineral Commission, and the Forestry Commission told us that the Akunta Mining Company has no permit to operate in the forest reserves. But President Nana Addo and the NPP government failed to prosecute the company because the owner of the company was Chairman Wontumi, or is Chairman Wontumi. And to your information, Madam Jean Mensah and the 3 other commissioners can be removed from office. Remember, same was done to Madam Charlotte Osei. What happened to the good people of Sal was totally unacceptable. And talking about that, that's our next topic for discussion, because that is what is in the petition, because the people of Sal were deprived of representation in Parliament, and by constitution, it should never happen. Good morning, my dear. This is Abdul Ganiu from Savannah region. So you all thought Mahama will fight Galamsey when elected. okay, I don't know why you are using some words, but as much as possible, let's try as much as possible to not to use certain words. Musa Abattoir from Asawase, the vetting process has been impressive, with the nominees showcasing competence and insight. I must also commend Oral for their diligent efforts in uncovering the shocking 1.3 billion cedis misappropriated and shared amongst cronies, NPP apparatchiks and allies of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. I sincerely hope that every individual who misappropriated public funds will be held accountable and not allowed to walk free. The fight against corruption must be relentless. Good morning, Madam. I'm Eben from Kwabenya. I think the petition to remove the EC chair and 3 other members is a good one. All public office holders must do their work without interfering by the appointment authority, period. Greetings to Honorable Eli Gleam from Akrugu. All right. Good morning, hostess Roslina. My question is 84 accounts to 20 banks. How is the distribution done? How many accounts to a bank and which banks are involved? Let's build the nation together. May God help Mother Ghana. Dachi watching from Jukuma. Okay, Dachi, you know, we said we're going to try to get to the bottom of this because it's, as somebody will say, 84 in 20 banks. 84 accounts in 20 banks. Wow. As an individual, how many accounts do you have in a bank? Good morning, Rosalind. The President John Dramani Mahama's appointment to acting positions as chief CEOs shouldn't keep long, to either make them permanent or change them and to replace them with those who have the technical and expertise in their respective areas. The NLA is one of such area which needs the technical and expertise to handle. There is so much to check after Samia Uku because he brought a lot of challenges and must be looked into. You need someone who understands the dealings there, but not to now go and learn on the job. Mr. President, if you really want to deal with corruption, NLA is one institution you can't overlook. This from Stephen Opoko. Stephen, do you work at NLA? Because it looks like you know a lot about NLA. If it's NDC, everything is wrong. Canal, Opoku National Security under NPP sees my brand new Land Cruiser for no reason. He's using the car now. Really? Really? Wow. So in such instance, I don't know, now that they're out of power, will he give back the car or what's going to happen? Good morning, Rosalind. Let the full soldiers know that we have had a peaceful election and not a coup d'etat. These hooligans have gone on rampage ever since the election, and the president and the leaders of the NDC have been mute. In fact, their silence is too loud, and I'm wondering if their leaders have nothing to do with it. They have taken over Atewa Forest, and very soon, Jubilee House will be the next. Then they will know the demons that they have created. This, my party is in power. Nonsense must stop, and stop now. The impunity is just sickening. Awewuta. Okay, Awewuta. I hope I got your name right. Rosalind, good morning. It is instructive to also mention that the same KPMG report revealed that although the ECG had over 84 different accounts at the end of every day, all collections are transferred, consolidated to one central account. It is for that reason that they were able to account for every CD collected. The volume of transactions that ECG district offices do in a day or week will not allow them to operate a single account. In fact, there will be a halt in the operation if they were to go by the single account. Let's be very practical here. Wafa, we also want to understand how, you know, logically.
400 got missing informants.
Okay.
From ECG. Auditor's report.
All right. I'll just read I'll read just maybe 2 and come back. The NDC youth are helping President Mahama and his NDC to reset Ghana. I can confidently say there is a big hand supporting those NDC youth to engage in the chaos and vandalism. There is no smoke without fire. The big men only come out to tell them to stop, but underground, they encourage them to do that. Hypocrisy and dishonesty. Master Planner from Kintampo. I'll read this one and then I come back, and then we go into the conversation with regards to EC's removal. Good morning, beautiful Rosalind, and your discerning panelists. I want to say that the issues related to the clash has been what ex-President Nana Addo and his appointees have done in this country, and citizens are feeling bitter since they equally have right to Ghana's resources while few use it for their selfish gain. So I'll urge the government to call out all stakeholders back to the drawing table to correct all the wrongs done by the MPP government. However, I support the president's release on the matter at hand that Anglo Gold Ashanti should take care of them, and those who lost their lives must be given befitting burial by AGA while investigations is ongoing. Finally, we all know that galamsey is a canker, so everybody gets its adverse effects. So we must do our possible best to aid the government of the day to mitigate it, if not completely. NPP should disassociate the issue at hand with political change of power, but rather bring on board the solution to address the challenges associated with gold in Ghana, and issues of one must be diligently dealt with. The EC must be replaced to serve as deterrent to others in future. Baba Jibril from Guan constituency. All right, so that'll be it for now. I'll come back so you can still send in your messages to us. But, you know, the petition, quite interesting. I don't think we didn't see this coming.
I don't want to go in.
I don't think we didn't see this coming. I think we saw it coming one way or the other. It was going to happen where we were going to hear that the EC, people were petitioning government of the day to remove the EC from seats and bring other people. Now, I just want to read a few reasons that were given, but the main reason is to do with the people of South not having a representation in Parliament. Now, this is what the petitioner said. The petitioner said, for over 4 years, the people of Sal were deprived of their constitutional rights to parliamentary representation, leaving them without a voice in the legislative process. Also, at the time of this deliberate exclusion, the parliamentary composition was a hung parliament. The Sal area's parliamentary vote was pivotal and could have potentially given the opposition NDC a majority. By disenfranchising these voters, the EC acted in a clever that suggests partisan bias. Okay, so this is what the person said. Okay, I just want to get it right. Okay, the EC acted in a manner that suggests partisan bias and an attempt to influence the balance of power in Parliament. Now, it also continues, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, in concert with her deputies, has demonstrated gross incompetence in the performance of her duties. Announcing such a critical decision, Exhibit A, on the eve of an election suggests poor management and a failure to anticipate the impact of the Guan district's creation and electoral arrangements. So this, and I think there are about 2 other reasons that were given that the EC should be removed, not just her, but with her 3 deputies. Dr. Bosman Asari's name was even mentioned in there, you know. So quite interesting. But we saw this coming. It was definitely going to come one way or the other. Who ended? You ended. So back to Honorable. We saw this coming.
Yes, we saw it coming, and it will come, and it has come. It has arrived.
Are you the petitioner?
I am not even on the petitioner. It's not just the petitioner. I have seen civil society organizations that have taken on the EC, this particular EC with her deputies. You see the banter between Day and Imani Ghana. You've seen it. You've seen the fact that the Sharma MP one time requested for their procurement report on some of the, and she refused and so on. And so there are several protocols they might have flouted when they were in office. And those things must be looked at. When you look at them, then clearly it will give away as to whether it should be removed or not. But we will leave that to another day because, one, but look at the conduct of the electoral officer under G. Menster. And the fact that the government populated the place with MPP part card bearer members. You see, I've often said something, and I've said it here several. Look, My brother is an MPP. You can make him a judge. You can make Tim to a judge. It is our conduct on the job that really scares away people. That is a real issue. If not, if you want to stretch it, everybody has a political party. But it is when you sit on the job, then your activities and program rather inures to the appointor than the people of this country for whom you've sworn the Constitution to execute your job, either with a fear or favor to the benefit of everybody, is what people look at. The needless cutting away of the, what do you call it, as the petitioner put it, the SAL people was absolutely unnecessary. People must realize that we have what we call inalienable rights. Your inalienable rights are your natural rights. No one can take
away from you.
The Constitution only seeks to reinforce and guarantee them for you. And choice is an inalienable right. And the people of SAL were denied of that choice to be made. And they were now being ruled by people whom they did not choose or otherwise. Over 32,000 registered voters and so on. In well-established democracies, in fact, that error should have led to them resigning. That error, even there are some areas where even just a thumbprint that didn't go well, the officers resign and so on. So for me, if you are put there, you think that today, team has been appointed by President John Dramani Mahama, or my brother has been appointed by XYZ, and you go there and you are looking at your appointor without not executing your functions and duties to the people of this country, you are going to have big challenge. Because when we want to go back and look at the circumstances under which, what is her name? The former.
Which was Charlotte Osei.
Charlotte Osei was removed and her deputy. Notwithstanding the internal squabble, the major thing they used was the procurement breaches and so on. And for which Jimenez and her people cannot run away from those procurement breaches, because Imani has challenged them, other civil society organizations have challenged them. You just need to do a forensic audit, and every institution would undergo forensic audit. There's no institution under the Constitution under Ghana that cannot be audited. That one is very clear, because it belongs to the people of Ghana. You are appointing the name of the people, you swear the Constitution on their behalf. So once public money is used for that institute, for the execution of that institute, they go through that. So with that, as time passes by, we see clear where the breaches are, and then we take them in accordance with the law. For me, I think that they were much more pursuing the interests of the president who appointed them and the political party, rather than an interest that would have that reflected and resonated the general interest of the people of this country.
Okay. So
I know much more call of these things will come up, but it was now left with what will be done. Because if you don't also take time, you remove them illegal, there's cost to the state.
Yes, so that's what I was going to say. As to whether the removal will be illegal or not.
When you look at the governor of the Bank of Ghana, naturally that was removed. The government negotiated with him and paid him heavily.
Yeah.
And the common fund administrator was removed for Natoshi to come in, because these are constitutionally created institutions. They are not by the act of parliament. When an institution is mentioned in the Constitution, it is difficult to remove such people. When you are moving them, it goes with cost. That cost rather inures to the people whom you are removing than to the government and so on. So once that institution is mentioned, once the institution is mentioned in the Constitution, you cannot easily remove them. Look at the Comptroller and Accountant General. You know they couldn't remove him, so they sent him to Kotoma. They sent him to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Finance, gave him a desk to be there, and they could not appoint a substantive controller, because you cannot have two controller and accountant generals there. So he was there with his specs, with his two police officers, with official car. He was doing that. The guy said he was not going to go because he was protected by the Constitution. And the grounds for which the MPP wanted to remove him, he rejected and said no. Okay. So we'll get the one we cross.
Okay. Talking about that, of course, if law can be used to remove her, looking at some of the things that has been cited in there, that it means that it can be done. especially when they try to use the precedence of Charlotte to say that, procurement issues is the reason why Charlotte had to be removed. And now they want to use no representation for the people of SAL to remove Madam Jean Mensah from office.
Rosalind, the issues are not the same. Quite interestingly, the NDC has been chasing the Electoral Commission boss for quite some time now, using all manner of people and all manner of interests. Over the past few years, this particular EC has had several petitions. I think this will be the fourth. There's one from Oliver Becker-Vomawor's group, the Face the Country movement. There was one from Asepa, Mensah Thompson, and then the other petitions that didn't fly. And most of these petitions have cited the same issues: incompetence. How do you measure incompetence? Unless through an election. And this is someone who did the 2020 election and the 2024 election and saw a smooth transition. In the 2024 election, but for these few issues with which I even feel, we in the minority, we the MPP feel that is the cause of the NDC. Some few constituencies like Ablekuma and so on, that their people are fighting to prevent the EC from declaring the rightful candidates. There would have been no issues. The election was done. It was one of the most peaceful elections that this country has had. And the international community was commending us. But then this is a party that is bent, a government that is bent on removing her at all costs.
No, but let me ask you this.
Now, to the substantive issues.
Okay.
Look at the issue that Imani brought about procurement breaches. Imani's main issue that they discovered was the entity. They said the entity tender committee was dissolved and a new committee was put in place to favor somebody. But then if you look at the composition of the EC's entity tender committee, the entity tender committee it comprises 3 members of the EC commissioners and then 2 members one from the major political party. The 2 are from the major political party. So one from NDC, one from MPP. So how can you get members of parliament, 2 members of parliament representing NPP, NDC on the entity tender committee? How can you get such a representation and say that it was flawed? Then you are trying to tell me that the NDC member of parliament who represented on the committee didn't do his work well. He was compromised. You understand? So these issues, they've traveled through the court system. The SAL issue went to the Supreme Court.
Yes, they still should have had a representation in Parliament.
Yes, everybody agrees that SAL now has a representation in Parliament.
They now, but what happened then?
In 2020, there was a demarcation of district assemblies, which is important because per our constitution, the EC is allowed to do these demarcations. After the demarcations, there's a time frame to do constituencies. After the demarcations, the time to election was too short for the constituencies to be properly constituted, because you need to bring it to Parliament. It has to be in Parliament over a period of time before you do all these things. And then in 2020, in this country, when you are creating constituencies, the moment you create a constituency to favor another party, you get headache, you get problem. And everybody knows SAL will favor NDC. So definitely MPP too would have said, because in my constituency, we have a population of 300,000. We have a voter population of 116,000. Fairly, the constituency could also be divided. So MPP will say, okay, this constituency to divide it. And I remember clearly that there was a proposal to even demarcate some other constituencies. But then because of the timing,
I just want to come
it couldn't go on.
Who did it, under whose government did the demarcation
but
happen?
You see,
so if we say anything like, oh, it was going to favor the NDC, it was under the NPP that the demarcation happened.
Rosalind, SAL, even after that demarcation, had a district assembly representation.
But why not a member of Parliament?
Not a member of Parliament.
Why?
Because of how the timing and everything. It traveled to the Supreme Court. And even when the Supreme Court, in their best judgment, looked at the processes and everything, the Supreme Court realized that, yes, they should have had a member of parliament. But then it was not something that you say somebody intentionally sat down to create it. It wasn't an intentional thing. And that's what our colleagues have to understand. And in the same spirit, of fairness, before 2024, the EC had put the right measures in place so that Saul will have a representation. If the EC had anything to hide or even to any form of bias, then you say if the EC was trying to be biased for the MPP, then the EC would have still maintained its position. And then in 2024, Saul will still not have a representation. But then they took steps to correct the mistake that had happened, the mishap. They took steps to correct it.
They had 4 years.
Yes, but then after the election, you have to go through a process to create the constituency. You don't just, the EC does not just tap its finger. Creating constituencies are guided by the Constitution. You don't just sit down and say, tomorrow I've created a constituency for you. Like the EC will be creating constituencies arbitrary to the Constitution.
And they use 4 years to create the constituencies?
No. They have to follow due process. And if you look at our Constitution and the processes that you need to follow, there's even a time that you need to gazette and all these things. If you are out of time, the time that they did the district assembly demarcation, if you are out of time, there will be nothing that you can do.
Okay. So I'll let you come in. It's just quite sad, okay? I always advocate for women to be in power. It's quite sad that...
Rosalie, may I ask you,
no, let me
do
land.
you want the AC boss?
Let me land. No, so I'm making a point. It's quite sad that we saw Charlotte Osei leave. It's quite sad that we are seeing, something that was done being used against her.
But I think some of these accusations are very baseless.
So that, a petition can be made. Because if, when she was opposed, she had given the people of Sal a representation, I think it would have been very difficult for the NDC to be making, or some people to be making such petitions.
What happened to Sal was unfortunate, but then I don't think...
No, so my point is that my point is that I wish that we won't have a situation where we will petition for somebody this good to be removed. But the unfortunate thing is because...
Did the petition mention that she should be removed because of Sal?
Yes, in there.
No, I didn't say anything.
It's one of, so should I read it for you?
Yeah,
okay.
Can you read it?
Yeah.
All right.
So I think the petition mentioned bias and incompetence.
I'll read it. Sal is the major one. So yes, Sal is the major one. So he says that the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, in concert with deputies, it's this one, for over 4 years, this is what I quote, for over 4 years, the people of Sal were deprived of their constitutional right to parliamentary representation, leaving them without a voice in the legislative process. Also, at the time of this deliberate exclusion, the parliamentary composition was a hung parliament. The Sal area's parliamentary vote was pivotal and could have potentially given the opposition NDC a majority. By disenfranchising these voters, the EC acted in a manner that suggests partisan bias and an attempt to influence the balance of power in parliament. So this is one. Then the person continues by saying that the chairperson of the EC, in concert with her deputies, has demonstrated gross incompetence in the performance of her duties, announcing such a critical decision, Exhibit A, on the eve of an election suggests poor management and a failure to anticipate the impact of the Gwan's district creation on electoral arrangements. Now, the person also says that Dr. Bosman Asari made numerous social media comments on platforms such as Facebook and Twitter before his appointment, displaying overt bias against the opposition party. These statements have raised questions about his impartiality and suitability for the role. So these are the reasons that
here in Ghana, who is partial or impartial? How do you identify someone who is a neutral? In Ghana, if you want to dig, you will get everybody related to somebody, or people's comments will be used against them. And there will be no EC. That's the country we live in because we are interconnected. And most of our professionals, most of our lecturers and all that, they, in their private life, sometimes they make comments depending on some of the things the government does.
But you don't work for the EC, and we have said that the EC is supposed to be a neutral body. So I'm quite surprised.
In his work, has he exhibited any bias? That's the point. When we put you in that position, how do you conduct yourself? How has she conducted herself? She's a woman. And I agree with you that we should protect her in a way. I'm not saying if she's done anything that is wrong, it shouldn't be investigated. Looking at the previous petitions that came against her, I think there was one that also indicated a SAL issue in the previous administration. And the president dismissed, I think there was a report, the president referred it to the Council of State or a commission of inquiry or something, or the Chief Justice, and then there was a dismissal of the petition. I think it was referred to the Chief Justice, and there was a dismissal of the petition. And most importantly, we don't have to situate the SAL issue with the emphasis in Parliament. When we do that, then more or less we will not even go forward.
Okay.
You see, Honorable Edu, you remember, you know Professor Kweku Azan and other constitutional luminaries have come and they've written copiously on the sad issue of SAL. And this, you can clearly see that it was a well-rehearsed agenda. One, how do you write to a constituency or a section of the people of that constitution, cancelling their vote the eve of the election? There was so much copious time for you to have indicated initially, and the people will know that they were not going to be part of it. It was painful that people were preparing to go and vote the following day. For only a stroke of the pen, you use blue pen to write, you won't vote.
How do you know it's blue? It could have been black.
I'm coming. You see, the letter...
That's a good question.
The Electoral Commission has her conduct. I stated it here, and I'm happy you ended on that note. The content of her conduct showed a lot of things. In 2020, you announced the presidential results 6 times. As we speak, the elections this year is not conclusive.
It was announced once, but it was changed on the...
That is it. It's an announcement.
Okay. Because you don't say it was announced.
No. When you announce...
Announcement is different.
When you announce...
Announcement and publications are different.
Listen to me. When you announce that team is the winner, then you come and say, no, I re-announce me. It's an announcement. No. Because it's the same fellow. He hasn't changed.
It's the figures that changed.
That is what happened because the Constitution...
just one president.
No, but he kept announcing it. Finally, was it not Sylvia that announced, and then later on she was made ambassador to, I think, Denmark or something, said that the PR. Was he constitutional mandated to do that? No. The returning officer is constitutional, and it is only the electoral chairperson that was supposed to do that. As we speak now, the elections have not ended. Now, I want to ask... The current election...
the current election has ended.
Parliamentary...
No. Honorable.
Is the results.
The only reason...
The results. Now, you let me continue.
You say the current election...
Because the results have not yet...
That is because your party is preventing the EC from declaring Ablekuma.
That is
why in Parliament...
But you sent one to Burma camp and announced. Why can't you send Ablekuma?
No, because the EC said she needs protection.
But you sent the other one to Burma camp.
And the police are withdrawn their protection.
Burma camp is still there.
And every day you send your hoodlums.
No. Don't discuss.
But the case is in court.
I'm coming.
To the EC.
You see?
No, Ablekuma is not in court. The EC has finished.
Wait, I'm coming.
The EC has finished with the compilation of results.
Okay.
And wants to declare.
Okay.
But then whenever she tries to declare, they send these guys there to beat people and destroy things. In the last instance, they destroyed the whole EC office where they were going to do the declaration. And the EC brought out a statement that these things are uncalled for. I just want to declare the winner. It's clear who has won. Ekwefie has won. So for the EC to declare, the NDC is preventing her from doing that declaration. So that Ekwefie will be brought to Parliament to be sworn in. Okay. That is the problem with Ablekuma.
Okay. So
that is the reason why in the last sitting of Parliament, then minorities stood up. We stood up and said, if
Ablekuma... You couldn't stand up for SAL.
No, but where were your people? You know, the same question arises. You had people, you had equal representation in parliament then, and your people didn't stand up.
Okay.
Your people could have stood up for them.
All right, Honorable Edu.
So even in parliament on the floor, you are playing partisanship.
But in parliament, why do we have minority and majority?
Okay.
No, you know that the rules in parliament, you cannot
the
exhibit.
opposition, they said that the Queen's
you
opposition
know that in parliament, you cannot
your minority was very strong.
Let Honorable Timothy make his point. Yes.
The question now is, do we compensate the people of SAL that their common fund that was not given should be given to them by this act? All other funds that were supposed to accrue to them as a result of they not having a representative, can we now, as a state, give it to them because an electoral commission committed that crime against the people of SAL? These are the issues. That is why I said it here, and I will keep saying that. When you are appointed for the people of this country, your work must be in consonance with the establishment, with the law establishing that you conduct this in a neutral way so that the people of Ghana...
Honorable, if I may ask...
Talking about...
You're a former member of parliament.
Yes.
What is the job of the MP? To legislate. In speaking about common fund, is it the MP's common fund or the district assembly's common fund? Now, you and I know that the MP's common fund is not even adequate enough for any developmental projects. It's not enough.
But
sometimes you have to
know,
even in your term, if you cumulate it for the 4 years, what significant project could you do?
You could do because that.
But then the people of South had a district in place. They had a DC in place. And the district common fund was meant for development.
Honorable Edu, can I come in with regards to what you just said?
You go to the point that
can I come in with
what you just said?
Honorable Atewa and Honorable Edu, with what you just said, is just trying to tell us that members of parliament are not needed in any constituency.
No,
because if
that's
you're saying,
wrong. The job of the MP is legislation.
Yes, good.
But
so
what is happening is,
if they have MMDCEs and stuff and it's working, then it means that we don't need members of parliament at all.
No, not that. Members of parliament do the legislation.
Yes.
But because
so they also
MMDCs are supposed to be the development agents in the district, per the local government act.
So they also needed their person there, right?
No, what is happening is that we've gotten to a point in our country where we've come to create a responsibility for the member of parliament due to time, the campaigns that we, the MPs ourselves, have done. So now it's put a developmental responsibility on MPs. Ideally, every MP, and my honorable member knows that the job of every MP, ideally, is to legislate. But now, we have put the job of the developmental parts of the constituency on ourselves. So in that recognition, then the government decides that we give you some common fund, so that when you go to the constituency and some issues come to you, you'll be able to assist. But then major developmental projects like roads, yours is to lobby.
So they needed a person to go and lobby?
Yes, they needed a person to go and lobby. They didn't have. But then that is where the issue is. But if you say that we should give accumulated funds, it doesn't mean that no project went into the constituency.
All right, so let's have Honorable Atewa.
You see, my brother, the common fund, maybe the metropolis might say it is small. And a rural area like SAL would need it. And as a member of parliament, I've been there. I know what I use my common fund to even build markets, to assist, build cheap common fund. You can use it purposely for something great in the rural constituencies and so on. Something that might not be necessary in your place. You may even use it for boreholes alone, boreholes. And that will go a long way to help the people. You may use it to pay part of school fees and give micro credit to people who are trading at the locals. It's very important.
Yes,
so for me, I think that it was improper. And look, the petitions that were sent earlier to the president to act on, he failed to act on. And then, they came back telling us that, you see, they couldn't even give any reason. But that of Charlotte was when it came, they transmitted with the speed of lightning to the
Honorable, you said they failed to act on.
Yeah.
That you were not happy with the response.
Not that. No, that was the Kweku Azan one. No, the response was the Kweku Azan one.
But in any case, Honorable, the same EC today supervised an election that brought you to power. What I have come to understand is it doesn't have to do with the electoral commission.
No.
It has to do with the people. If the people say you are out,
All right.
So whether you change
But
EC
your
today or
conduct,
tomorrow,
Okay.
when your time is up,
Your time is up.
Your time is
Yes,
All
that
right,
one,
so let me
that
read
one is a fact. For me, I agree with you
Let
with
me
that.
read a few messages coming in, okay? Francis Medina, in fact, EC has kept longer in this new administration. Everybody in Ghana, including the NPP man over there, knows that the EC was completely in bed with NPP and they barely put this country in the fire. But God, in his own wisdom, has spoken for Ghanaians. If not, this country could have been in fire because we were in this country and we saw the plot of EC and NPP. EC must go. So please, Honorable Edu says he doesn't know. So please, don't say that he knows. He doesn't know anything. OPK, Patriotic Voices, go. So regards to Dr. Digitalization Maumia and Mr. Stephen Intime, MPP National Chairman, Ghanaians are still waiting for Mahama and the NDC implementation of the 24-hour economy, free SHS for private schools, free fees for level 100 students in tertiary schools, Women Bank, 6,000 Ghana cedis for a bag of cocoa, 20% allowance for teachers in deprived areas, etc., and not to the attacking of institutions, departments, agencies, etc. by NDC members, and Ghanaians will see the true colors of the NDC very soon on their lies and propaganda. My regards to Osei Kochu, special aid to Dr. Baumia. Okay. Roslyn, Ewuta from a race course. Frankly, with the kind of politics run in this country, I don't understand why an appointee of a previous government will still be at post when the government that brought you there is leaving. Why should you be there for people to insult and make all sorts of allegations at you? If I'm Madam Jean and her deputies, I would have resigned by now. You won't even have your peace of mind. You see, unfortunately, your statement that you're making is not correct because where she is, you can't just remove her. She's not an appointee of the government. It doesn't work like that. Maybe, yes, she got there under the Kufuor government, but yes, she's an Article 70 holder. You can't just take her out of post. It doesn't work like that. Good morning, Rosalie, and your respected honorables. Their contributions today are superb, especially Honorable Timothy. As for Honorable Edu, he talks as if just after the elections, the country was on autopilot. Nado was still the president to provide security for the Electoral Commission to complete the entire results. Karim Starboy. You want to respond to this?
Oh, no.
You just laugh it off. Okay, please laugh it off. All right. All right. Good morning to you all, especially the NDC rep. Look, we should all condemn that act by the party foot soldiers. We are building a nation. Let's stop pointing fingers at each other. Exactly. It will help the country development. IMF made a recommendation about 84 accounts was not right. Why one state institution have many accounts? This is where corruption starts. In leakages comes from. The EC must go because we never witnessed election like this before in this country. The people of Sal was denied representative as a commission. Those breaches should be corrected. This from Big G Tamale. All right, so... All right, this person has deleted that and sent it. So it's like, if you don't read my message, I go bored. Good morning, host. Tell the NPP spin doctor to stop so he's not spiralized. We saw lots of abuses under Kufuor when people were thrown out of offices under the proceed on the Leave campaign against NDC and non-accounts. Okay, again, they threw out ministers out of their houses amidst jubilation by party youths. JJ was denied his privileges and refused to allow UDS to honor him. I don't know if this is true though, because
ethnocentric comment shouldn't be entertained.
No, I'm sorry, but I'll have to stop reading this.
The JJ one.
Yes.
The JJ one.
Yeah.
No, he was denied.
Okay, so he was denied. All right, but I don't want us to
JJ
go
was
into
denied what?
His privileges.
His privileges.
No,
some of.
You remember?
Some of them.
Some.
No,
not all. His house just
no, that's not a privilege. He's traveling.
Not all. Some of the privileges.
But then
denied,
JJ was a military before he transitioned into democratic rule. And when President Kufuor came, if you've met some of these, and when you listen to President Kufuor, even when he took over, they were still scared. So they had to put JJ under intense...
No, that's not the
scared
issue.
Of what?
The issue, that's not even the
Rollins?
issue.
Oh, no.
The issue was when he was traveling.
81, 79, 81, and then he...
No, that wasn't the issue. Adu. The issue was that, you know, Edu. You look like the former chief executive Cocoa Board. Do you have a relation?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's a relation.
Okay. When Rollins, you know, as a former president, when you are traveling, when you get to the other country, the embassy staff and all those who will come, they give you the courtesies. They call it the courtesies. Those courtesies were withdrawn. That's how come when Rollins later was traveling with
initially.
No,
But
it was not initial. Initially, it was on.
When Akufo-Addo came,
it was rather later on.
Akufo-Addo had a very good relationship.
No. I know,
very
but that is not the topic this morning. No, it was not. Because in fact, it was from the Rollins's family that we got to know that Akufo-Addo didn't go to law school. We didn't.
No, that's not.
We didn't. It was Kunadu that said it.
It
was Kunadu.
Let's wrap up our conversation. Let's wrap up our conversation.
You people have always said that Akufo-Addo was a smoker. But the Nana Akufo-Addo I knew, even when you meet him, he doesn't drink alcohol.
No. Let's even
put it out.
You know John Mahama very well.
Gentlemen,
I don't think you'll be happy if you go to that time and then you start saying,
that wasn't,
no, let's move on. This is not needed. I'm sorry. No. But honorable, this is not needed. No, honorable, this is not needed. I'm sorry. This morning, we don't have to be saying things like that. No.
You said he was a friend to
Please. Want to say a very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. So if you're looking for mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, just make sure you go to Franco Trading Enterprise for all of that. You can download the app on your phone to make things easy. That's Franco Trading app, or visit our website www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone Papa Perfie. All right, so gentlemen, I'll take your final opinions on our topic so far, and then we can go. So we'll sum it up. Honorable Edu, I'll start with you.
Rosalind, I believe that where we have gotten to as a country, we need to take the necessary steps to protect our democracy, to protect the gains that we've made. It's quite unfortunate the things that have happened, considering the GRA attacks, considering the Atewa issues and other places, the Obuasi, quite unfortunate. It's a prayer that these things don't happen again. And I believe that the government will take cue in these things, take the necessary steps to remedy the situation, and as soon as possible, call their people to order so that we will see an end to these things. Because these are the things that embolden the people in the grassroots. And then when there's a government change, and in Ghana, what we are seeing, we continue to see changes of government as time goes on. And when there is a government change, then people are emboldened to do these things. And it's gotten to the point that we want to see an end to these things. But I also want to congratulate, most importantly, the Ashanti Regional Minister nominates. I believe today we are going to Parliament. I'm sure his report will be on the floor. We'll digest it and see if it will be approved. Hopefully, it will be approved. I wish him well. It's my prayer that as he enters this new office, he'll be able to build relationship. He'll be able to build the bridge between the political classes in the region, so that we bring what we are looking for in the region is development. What we are looking for is that the things that he said at the vetting, that he will help support the youth and bring down unemployment, these things will be done. And like I said last week, it's early days, so one does not want to conclude and say that it is impossible. From where I stand, everything is possible. So possibly, when time goes on, when we come back to the studios, we'll be able to assess their impact and what they've been able to do.
Fantastic.
And lastly, I pray, looking at where we are as a country now, we've come to understand that it doesn't matter who is the referee. It's what the people say. When the people say this is the person they are giving their mandate to, that is it. So the back and forth with the Electoral Commission that every government wants to change, it has to stop somewhere. That is what I have to say for today.
All right, fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, Honorable.
Yes, Honorable Edu, it's true that where we've gotten to in our democracy, it does not really matter who is the Electoral Commission chairperson or the chairman and so on. If we begin to allow and do this in a fair way, that is it. If you look at this time before the elections, we did a meticulous job. Our IT set up, in fact, all the infractions or the would-be challenges were identified by the NDC for correction and so on. We had banter with them and so on. So even though when it gets to a time in your stewardship and the people want to change, they will go ahead. You must also be watchful. You must also ensure that you put a closer and an eagle eye on the management of the election or the body that manages the elections and so on. You see, talking about what has happened, unfortunate incidents of Obuasi and so on. Even look at the U.S. with the time test over 200 years of democracy. We saw what happened at when Trump was about losing the election, what he ordered his people to do. And those people, when they entered the White House, what did they say? Hang Mike Pence. Hang. And you know, Mike Pence was the vice of, what do you call it, of Trump. Yet one day they said, hang Mike Pence, hang him, and so on. So for me, it normally depends on the conduct and the utterances and the activities of the previous government. That went silent. There were a lot of infractions with personal properties. Aside from Honorable Muntale's car, member of parliament whose Land Cruiser was seized and put there for over a year until he started threatening with lawsuits before they're given to him. I can go on and on. When it happens, the voice of sanity, those who ought to talk must talk and bring calmness into the situation, for which I agree. We cannot be pursuing a democracy where we think that everything will be smooth. 8 people died in Techiman. We can go on. Even this current election, 4 people died. Every election, must people die? And when they die, what do we do? Do we investigate and then punish the real people behind these crimes? Or we just wash them away without not even going to say hello to the brief family? Yet we can go and bring George Floyd's funeral to do here. And when we do that, and we leave these people there, then the next guy, my brother will say, when they win power, the people will say, the food soldiers, this is what you did, this is what you did. But when there's punishment, when there's investigation, that brings the issue to a final conclusion. People will be satisfied, whether you are guilty or not, or you are innocent, both parties involved in these matters will be satisfied. That is how we can move forward from these things. But there are lessons to all of us and to the fact that power is transient. Power cannot rest with one people forever. No matter how long you go, you one day exit. When you're exiting, check back and see what you left. Whether you can turn back and go to that office. I always say that if you have an office, the beauty of being in leadership is that at any time you should freely walk back to the office. At any time, the people should miss your leadership and would always call on you to come. But not where, when you go back, you cannot even come there. Sometimes the employees will even sack you away.
Next week, you have to bring me gifts. Come bearing gifts, because next week Wednesday is my birthday. We have
next week Wednesday.
Yes. 5th of February is my birthday.
Wow.
Anyway, we have trends coming up next.
So
we have sports that will come up as well. Oh, sorry, we have sports coming up before trends that will come up later. And also we go into our wellness conversation. We're talking about the 5 killer diseases that if care is not taking, it's actually preventable. But if you don't take care, you could get it, and it's deadly as well. And then we'll talk about the Impact Makers Awards, which nominations have opened. My name is Roslyn Felly. We'll take a quick break on this note. When we come back, we have more for you. Do stay.